Welcome to SportsKhabri. Curious Harry, arunfoot, and after a long time, I'm saying this Indian food and football. Shayan's return after a long break. I know I usually do the hosting and then I introduce everyone, but Hiren's been waiting for this. So Hiren, I'm going to pass it on to you for you to take it over and you know uh, give a little welcome speech for Shayan because it's been a while.
This is a special day for the Indian football, historical day, I would say. And personally, this is also for me is an emotional day because my mentor in the Indian football and the person and the Pandit, I would say, of the Indian football, Mr. Sayan Sarkar has came back to this show. So that's a great moment for me. And I think all of you also are waiting for this moment. So it's a great pleasure to have Sen Sarkar in the show today. And I think सभी को काफी सारी चीजें सीखने को भी मिलेगी उनसे as always. So it's an emotional day for me. And I'm great. मतलब मेरे पास क्या बोलते हैं कि वो शब्दों की कमी पड़ चुकी है. I have not enough words to describe him, but I think his stature and his knowledge is unparalleled to anyone. So welcome Senda, and great to have you.
थैंक यू हिरेन ने इतना वर्ड्स बता दिया हम तो मैं वर्ड्स के प्रेशर में शायद मैं गिर जाऊं अभी ऐसा फील हो रहा है मेरे को
तो मन्नत में गिरो तो कहाँ दिक्कत है आपके पास आपके पीछे तो मन्नत है देखो
हाँ मेरे पीछे मन्नत है बट नहीं थैंक यू आई एम मिसिंग यू ऑल मैं भी मिस कर रहा था आप लोग को एक्चुअली मैं भी थोड़ा देयर वाज अ ईस्ट बंगाल गेम है उसको लेके मैं थोड़ा बिजी था विद ईस्ट बंगाल फैन कनेक्ट था कुछ 2-3 दिन सो आई वाज बिजी सो आई एम बैक एंड आज कवर करेंगे आज आई वॉच सॉ द गेम आल्सो वसुंधरा की मोहन बागान अ मिक्स डे फॉर इंडियन फुटबॉल ओडिशा विनिंग अ थ्रिलर Mohun Bagan losing, I think a mixed day, but let's see. I think the group becomes very interesting after that. We'll discuss in further, but thank you all. I missed you, Harry, Arunavoda, Rahul, Akshata, I think our team. So I'll be back. I think we will have more shows now on a regular basis. Thank you.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Everyone's back, and it's nice to have everybody here and talking about Indian football. So the first game that happened today, the first AFC Cup game was Odisha and Mazia. That was very interesting. Odisha went 2 goals down and then had to come back in the second half, 2 set-piece goals, and then they scored a third. A little bit of brilliance from Roy Krishna, who we haven't seen too much from this campaign. So, Arunava, what do you make of the game? Very important for Odisha to win that, and Roy Krishna, finally something to celebrate about.
And we come back to what we were speaking about last night, that Mazia is not a pushover side, right? And I think this is something, while Mumbai City is playing Champions League and playing with the big boys, where you realize that the big boys are much better than us. But you realize in club football that a team from Bangladesh and from the Maldives can cause problems for our teams. I think that's a reality check. But huge respect to Odisha, the way they came back. You're 2 goals down at halftime. Didn't look too good, and then you turn the whole thing around with 3 of your foreigners, Murtada Fall, Diego Mauricio, and then Roy Krishna scoring, and 6 points from 4 after losing the first game 4-0 at home to Mohun Bagan. It's game on. I mean, we're going to speak about the second game as well, but this group is going to be exciting now because you've got 3 teams with the potential of making it to the knockout stage.
Yeah, it is exciting. We'll get to talking about permutations, combinations, what the group looks like. But a quick word on Ahmed Jahu, Hiren. When it mattered, like Arnav mentioned, he mentioned a couple of the foreigners. Ahmed Jahu's deliveries, 2 of them, resulting in goals. So what do you make of him? I mean, how important is he to the Odisha side? Although he hasn't been probably in the best of forms in the last few weeks.
एग्री 100% एग्री आई थिंक पिछले कुछ मैचेस अगर आप उनके आईएसएल भी दिखाए तो उनको मतलब उतना ज्यादा वो टच में नहीं दिख रहे थे जो उनसे एक्सपेक्ट किया जाता है लेकिन टुडे व्हेन मैटर द मोस्ट आई थिंक ही डिलीवर्स एंड पर्टिकुलरली फर्स्ट हाफ से मैं काफी ज्यादा डिसअपॉइंटेड था जिस तरह से ओडिशा ने खेला फर्स्ट गोल आई थिंक कंट्रोवर्शियल बोल सकते हैं आई थिंक वो ऑफसाइड था नहीं था क्या हुआ एग्जैक्टली मतलब कुछ उसके बाद हुआ नहीं एंड सेकंड गोल भी जो उन्होंने पेनल्टी कंसीड किया, आई थिंक दैट वाज अ सिली फ्रॉम मोर्तादा फॉल, आई वुड से। वो बेटर टैकल हो सकता था, जिस तरह से उन्होंने काफी रेश टैकल में बोलूंगा उसको, अदरवाइज वो उतना कोई डेंजर नहीं था कि आप वहां से गोल कंसीड कर देते मेरे हिसाब से। आई थिंक अगर वो उन्होंने अपना फिजिकलिटी भी अच्छी तरीके से यूज किया होता, देन दैट सिचुएशन वाज अवॉइडेबल मेरे हिसाब से। बट सेकंड हाफ में जिस तरह से आई थिंक कमबैक किया, दैट्स अ कमेंडेबल जॉब। आई थिंक दैट ब्रिलियंट क्रॉस फ्रॉम द अहमद चाऊ एज यू मेंशन, एंड मोर्तादा फॉल का हेडर, जिस तरह से सेकंड गोल फ्रॉम डिएगो मोरिशो। आई थिंक डिएगो, मैं इसीलिए मैं मतलब मैंने कल भी जब मुंबई सिटी का भी गेम हो रहा था, आई थिंक डिएगो मोरिशो के पास वो है फ्लेवर, हमने देखा है जब वो मुंबई सिटी के लिए भी खेल रहे थे इन चैंपियंस लीग। आई थिंक ही हैज दैट मतलब थिंग कि जो मतलब आपको इस तरह के जो कंपटीशन है, कॉन्टिनेंटल कंपटीशन, उसमें वो डिलीवर कर सकता है। एंड रोहित कृष्णा डेफिनेटली, काफी सारे लोग उनके ऊपर क्वेश्चन उठा रहे थे, लेकिन आई थिंक आज जिस तरह से उन्होंने वो गोल किया, उसके बाद भी एक और चांस उसको मिला था, अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो कन्वर्ट नहीं कर पाए। सो ग्रेट विक्ट्री। एंड आई थिंक सर्जियो लोबेरा की साइड मतलब जिनको सबने जैसे आउट कर दिया था कि भाई अब इनका चांस नहीं है, आई थिंक नाउ दे आर आल्सो कंटेंडर की दे कैन गो टू आल्सो गेट इनटू द नेक्स्ट राउंड इफ दे विन बोथ मैचेस, वसुंधरा एंड मोहन बगान, एंड देन दे आर इनटू द नेक्स्ट राउंड। फिर क्या बोलते कि उनको किसी और के ऊपर रिलाई भी नहीं करना है, तो इतना उनके लिए स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड हो चुका है। इफ दे विन बोथ नेक्स्ट मैचेस, देन दे आर इनटू द राउंड नेक्स्ट राउंड। सो आई थिंक सर्जियो लोबेरा नाउ हैज टू लुक दैट फैक्ट आल्सो, एंड लेट्स सी किस तरह से जो नेक्स्ट कपल ऑफ मैचेस है उसमें किस तरह से वो रिस्पॉन्स करते हैं। बट ग्रेट मैच।
Fair enough. Let's just give a quick picture about what the table looks like in that Group D of the AFC Cup. It is Basundhara Kings who are on top, 7 points, level with Mohun Bagan on points, who are second, and then you've got Odisha with 6 at third. So it's very tight between those three. Sayan, how is it going to be? I mean, who do you think is going to make it through? Are you excited for how this group kind of looks right now?
Actually, when this started, when the group stage started, none of us thought that this this would become so tough. I think Mohun Bagan का जो team था, I think Mohun Bagan should have gone through and would have been ahead. I think should have been ahead इसमें जो था, because I think they dropped points against Basundhara in when they played them in Bhubaneswar. I think that has become a bit costly now, what I can see, and I think. Very interesting. I think Odisha has a game with Vasundhara in Kalinga, and I
Yes.
think I think in that ways Odisha has a very good outside chance from this group to qualify, because you see Odisha has been doing very well in their home turf. If you see last year in ISL also, and this year also in the home turf, they are a very good team in home. So who knows? I think Odisha can go through from this group. I don't know. I'm very doubtful now. I think Mohun Bagan or Odisha, I don't. Vasundhara has been playing good. The team is quite good, but I think they have this problem of losing points against Mazia, and they can stumble against other teams. But so in that way, I think Odisha and Mohun Bagan, I think they are. I hope Indian club qualifies from this group. Actually, as Arunavada was saying, it is something I think. If we can't qualify from the group which contains teams from Maldives and Bangladesh clubs from, so I think this is something which is the least expected, and I think one of the Indian clubs should qualify from this group. I think Vasundhara is doing good. मतलब
नहीं ये लॉर्ड बेके का जो कमेंट है भाई, नहीं गलत आपका कैलकुलेशन, नहीं कैलकुलेशन आपका गलत है, क्योंकि अगर ओडिशा दोनों में जीत जाती है देन दे हैव 12 पॉइंट्स। इसका मतलब उन्होंने एक मैच वसुंधरा को हराया है, तो वसुंधरा एक नेक्स्ट मैच अपना जीतती भी है, देन दे हैव 10 पॉइंट्स, एंड सेम गोस फॉर द मोहन बगान, क्योंकि ओडिशा दोनों में जीतती है, इसका मतलब उन्होंने मोहन बगान को भी हराया है। सो उनका भी अगर वो एक नेक्स्ट मैच जीतते हैं देन दे आल्सो हैव 10 पॉइंट्स, तो उन दोनों का 10 पॉइंट्स हो जाएगा और ओडिशा का 12 पॉइंट हो जाएगा, तो दे थ्रू इनटू दी, तो उनको फिर जीडीबीडी का कोई मसले में नहीं पड़ना पड़ेगा। जीडी का मसला वसुंधरा एंड मोहन बगान दोनों के लिए है, ओडिशा के लिए स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड है, दे विन 2 मैचेस एंड दे गोज इनटू द नेक्स्ट राउंड, सिंपल एज दैट।
I just have one clarification. Is it goal difference? Because it doesn't look like it, because right now Basundhara Kings are on top. They have a better goal difference. I mean, they have a worse goal difference than Mohun Bagan. I think it's head to head. Just
पहले काउंट क्या होगा, हेड टू हेड या फिर जीडी? अगर सेम पॉइंट होता है
head to head. So head to head means Basundhara won against Mohun Bagan and they drew away. So that means that's why Basundhara is ahead. So therefore also Mohun Bagan's 4-0 win against Odisha potentially has no value. If you if Mohun Bagan and Odisha have the same number of points, yes, it does. But if Odisha, as Harry or Hiren, sorry, has properly said, if they win their 2 matches, they're through. For them, it's very, very simple. They need to beat Basundhara Kings at home. They will need to win in Kolkata against Mohun Bagan. If they win those 2 matches, Basundhara and Mohun Bagan stand no chances of going through, which is quite interesting because after the second game, everyone said, oh, you know what, Odisha, that bad, they're not going to get anywhere. They had 0 points. And what also Sayan said, that draw against Basundhara will now be most probably be a problem because I would expect Basundhara to beat Mazia at home. So Basundhara will at least get to 10 points. So therefore, this is a very, very complex situation, which, and also this was Sayan said, and I agree to, for an Indian team in a South Asian region, and there are 2 Indian teams. The 2 Indian teams should be playing amongst themselves to win this group. But it shows, again, we've experienced it in the women's game with the Bangladesh women's national team. We're now realizing it also now in the men's club game. The Basundhara group has done a lot of things right, and which even Indian clubs can learn from them. And that is a concern, that teams which we would have beaten 5-10 years ago, we're losing to them now.
Yeah. Shad, I mean, moving away from football,
going to the ISL game, 96th minute, equalizer from Hyderabad against Punjab FC.
Jonathan Moya.
And
Punjab FC, yes.
On the other side, Luka Machin with the second. Oh no, it's offside. Oh wow.
Ooh.
Okay.
Interesting stuff. Shad, again,
that was interesting.
you because you're back.
And it's finished.
Food blogger,
Match done. 1-1 in the ISL.
Okay.
Well,
That's a fair result then.
Guys, we had, before we talk about the ISL, we had one more AFC Cup game. It was Mohun Bagan this time against Basundhara Kings, and it didn't turn out too well for them. They had the lead, but then slipped up and conceded 2 to lose this one 2-1. Hiren, what's happening? I mean, Lord Beke called it yesterday in the chat. We spoke about it. And not that straightforward for Mohun Bagan.
I think they beaten by the old front. I think tactically, Basundhara were more superior. Gameplay wise, more superior. They played better football. They created more chances. Their player looks more solid. Intensity wise, they are good. So in every front, I think some of the John Fernando decision I don't understand. Late substitution, some of the Petratos, why not Petratos come? Lot of things I think गलत हुई है मोहन बगान के लिए इस मैच में, and जो कि I think will be questioned, to be honest. And this is a big learning lesson क्योंकि this is the, I think 4th straight year for the Mohun Bagan in the AFC Cup, and they are still not looking convincing with this kind of squad. I think they are go for the, you can say, AFC Cup win. I think अगर आप वसुंधरा किंग्स के सामने ऐसी परफॉर्मेंस आ रही है, then next round में तो और भी tough टीमें आने वाली है, and it's not going to be easy. So really disappointed with today's performance of Mohun Bagan, to be honest. I think because आप देखिए आपका एक अनवरली एक ना प्लेयर ना होने से आपकी पूरी जो डिफेंसिव लाइन है आउट ऑफ स्टेप दिख रही थी. They don't know कहाँ पे अपने आप को पोजीशन करना है. आपका मिडफील्ड में कोई कंट्रोल नहीं था. थापा हैज अ वेरी बैड गेम, आई वुड से. आपने सब्स्टिट्यूशन काफी लेट की है. सो आई थिंक ऑन ऑल फ्रंट मेरे हिसाब से तो देख वो क्या बोलते कि एक भी चीज उन्होंने जो आज काम की मतलब कोशिश की, आई थिंक वो नहीं हो पाई. एंड एक आई थिंक मेरे को ये लगता था कि कहीं ना कहीं एक ऐसा मैच आने वाला है कि जहाँ पे होने वाला है, क्योंकि अगर आप मोहन बगान की नो डाउट आफ्टर दैट डर्बी विन इन दुरांत कप, आई थिंक उनके मैचेस देखेंगे तो आपको टेक्टिकली या फिर गेम प्ले वाइज आप ये नहीं बोलेंगे कि आई थिंक इंडिविजुअल ब्रिलियंस के ऊपर उन्होंने काफी सारे मैचेस निकाले हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि मतलब एकदम से प्रॉपर आप जिस तरह से वसुंधरा किंग अगर आप अटैक का बिल्डअप देखेंगे तो दैट शोज कि यहाँ पे ये पूरा ट्रेनिंग सेशन में प्रैक्टिस किया हुआ प्लेयरों की अंडरस्टैंडिंग बैठी हुई है और एक जो टेक्टिकल प्लान लेके जो अटैक बन रहा था वैसा मोहन बगान का नहीं था. दे मोर रिलाई ऑन दी इंडिविजुअल प्लेयर. और वो सिर्फ इस मैच का नहीं है, वो कहीं ना कहीं आप देखिए पिछले कुछ मैच या फिर आप ओवरऑल अगर आप उनका परफॉर्मेंस देखेंगे इस साल तो वो इंडिविजुअल ब्रिलियंस के ऊपर ज्यादा रिलाई कर रहे हैं. एंड या फिर सामने वाली टीम की मिस्टेक के ऊपर। तो उनका जो एक आप क्या बोलते कि जिस तरह से मुंबई सिटी के पास है कि एकदम प्रॉपर उनका अगर आप देखेंगे तो प्लेइंग स्टाइल है, आपको पता लगेगा कि यहाँ पे ये, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं मोहन बगान मिस कर रही थी एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली आज वो यहाँ पे एक्सपोज हो गया। सो दिस इज गोइंग टू बी द बिग चैलेंज नाउ फॉर जॉन फेरांडो इफ he didn't able to qualify for the next round in AFC Cup, then I think Antonio Habas is ready to take over the job मेरे हिसाब से, because I think I think प्रेशर जिस तरह से बनेगा, I think फैंस का भी अगर AFC Cup नहीं होता then because it's a fourth year and आपने कुछ सीखा नहीं है इससे, basically वो simply वो शो होता है. So I'm really disappointed by the today's performance.
Yeah, Anava, again, somebody, you called it yesterday and it was not going to be easy. Ishan pointing that out. Would you not start? Why did he not start Petratos? Because is he not Mohun Bagan's probably top 3 players right now?
I wouldn't even say that he's top 3. I think he's been the best foreigner for them for quite a while. I think Petratos is even last season. A lot of people said Mohun Bagan don't have a number 9. Petratos has been very, very good. They would have never won the ISL without Dimitri Petratos. Let's be very clear about that. And of course, you bring in Jason Cummings. You bring in Armando Sadiku. Those guys have scored their goals here and there, but Petratos has, for me at least, been the key player for this team. And what I said yesterday is, we can talk all day long about how good Mohun Bagan, Supergiant are. We are forgetting that Basundhara Kings have a very, very good coach in Oscar Bruzon, who's shown in India what he can do, be it at Sporting Club de Goa. He was at Mumbai FC. He was assistant under Nicholas Anelka at Mumbai City as well. He's been building this team for years. They've got the infrastructure. They've got everything else going for them as well. The Basundhara group has done better in the last 5 years than most ISL teams what they should have had by now. And you then see the result. And also, we've had this rivalry between Kolkata clubs and Dhaka clubs over the decades. Dhaka, Mohammedan Sporting, Obahani, Mukti Jodha. These clubs have come often to Kolkata for some matches, or the Kolkata clubs have gone there, and they've been challenging that. So therefore, that's why I said yesterday, my feeling said, and again, sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but today I'm right, that I said yesterday that I feel that Basundhara Kings will win against Mohun Bagan. And it's also a tactical game between Bruzon and Ferrando, 2 Spaniards, 2 very, very good Spanish coaches. And Bruzon is just a little bit more experienced. And I remember I spoke to him last year when they came to Kolkata and got beaten by Mohun Bagan. The day they arrived, I left Kolkata, and I know Oscar for many, many years. Good coach. And and at the end of the day, it's deserving. And I said that after the Jamshedpur game as well, that Hiren said that as well, that Mohun Bagan has gotten away with a few games in the last few weeks because of the individual brilliance. If we're honest, Jamshedpur deserved to win that game. Jamshedpur were the better team. But Mohun Bagan has the class. But sometimes that class will win you games. But if these players don't fire, you will lose games. And that's something, consistency. I always talk about consistency, about Indian players and all. Very difficult. That's the biggest problem that we face. You rarely have an Indian player who will play, let's say, 20 good games in a 25-match season. Or now in this year, I would say, let's say they play 30 good games in a 40-game season. And that's the problem. So therefore, I'm not surprised. If people are surprised, no, I'm not. I am not at all surprised that Basundhara Kings, they've been working towards this. They've lost to Mohun Bagan a few times in the last years. They've been working towards this. They've beaten Odisha a few weeks ago with the same result. And sorry, a 3-2. But they beat them. So Basundhara Kings is a team that could easily play in the ISL and would be a contender for top 6. You know, so that's the reality. And therefore, Kumar is talking about scouting and other things. Guys, Basundhara is not paying small money. They're paying big money to get these foreigners. You know, this is not some cheap Brazilian who you used to get, no disrespect, Jose Ramirez Barreto came as a cheap Brazilian at the time, but became a legend in Kolkata. In those days, Roberto Mendes Silva, a good friend of mine, those guys came on small money. Nowadays, Brazilians, Argentinians, Uruguayans are coming to India on big money.
Yeah.
So that's the reality.
A lot of people.
Yeah, sorry.
No. Again, like a lot of people like you are not very happy with Mohun Bagan today because of the situation of the game. You can see a lot of people mindset. Arpar, Israel Chauhan, like a lot of people are clearly unhappy with the performance today. But how do they? I mean, what do they look ahead to in this tournament? Because now it's tight. You have to play your best squad in the AFC Cup. Shine, do you think he took it by not playing Petritosh? Is that a sign that he took it a little for granted?
I think he should not take it with it lightly, because if you have struggled against a team to beat them at your home, so why would you take it lightly? And Mohun Bagan management has always said, I think I have discussed with many Mohun Bagan officials, and they have said me that is their main goal. ISL is something which is something which they are expecting them to win this year's ISL. But the main aim was to win the AFC Cup. That was the main aim. Actually, Mr. Goenka and the team had this plan, and I think they had a very ambitious, and the club also agreed. And the club's executive committee meeting last month, they says that the team wants to win the AFC Cup. I think that is very important. I think there will be huge pressure for Juan Fernando, no doubt about it, because I know many officials after that. I have already WhatsApp 2 or 3 officials. They are very disgusted about this performance, and they expect these players to deliver against a team. I agree with Aruna Oda that players of Basundhara has made a good infrastructure, and the players of the foreigners, especially, as he clearly mentioned, the quality of the foreigners have been very good. But still, I believe that Mohun Bagan should have won this game. I think Mohun Bagan, somewhat, I think they have made some mistakes. I think their preparation, sometimes I feel their preparation for the AFC Cup should have been in a better way, because if you see in the continental stage, it's very different, because last year when we played, it was all in Kolkata, all the games. And last time I remember Runa was saying it when we had this poll, and he said in live only, if I remember. He said it that this time it will be different, because we will be going to Maldives, we will be going to Dhaka, and things will be difficult. And really, this has happened, but actually, this is something which we could have avoided, but somehow Mohun Bagan should have. I think Mohun Bagan's needed to play much better than this. I think I am highly disappointed. I don't know about Hiren and Rona Oda. I am very.
But Shine, one point that I want to make again and again is, if Mohun Bagan as a top ISL team, and it's not only Mohun Bagan, if a Mumbai City, if a Goa, if an Odisha go to Dhaka and play at that Basundhara Stadium, to me, Basundhara would always be the favorite. And it doesn't matter which top Indian side. So we need to, this is a level of arrogance from our side that we think, listen, it's an Indian team will beat a team from Bangladesh. Those days are gone. This is the whole thing of what I've been saying for the last 6 months, and nobody wants to listen to it. That we are in a state, either we wake up and we sort out our football, national team or club, or otherwise, these losses will become normal. Exactly. Odisha needed an exceptional second half performance to turn around against Mazia. And Mazia in the past has beaten Indian teams in the AFC Cup.
Correct.
So that's the reality. So the point here is, if Mohun Bagan club officials, the owner of Mohun Bagan Supergiant, whatever they've said, the point here is that you at the group stage, you need to first of all ensure that you're the best team to get to the knockout, and the knockout is another new competition for you. And this is something which we need to understand. It's not that listen, we are South Asian zone, Indian team will go through. You have to play anywhere in the world. You have to play your matches. That's why do we love this game so much?
ये जो सौम्या मुखर्जी का भी जो है कि व्हाट यू गाइस थिंक मोहन बगान विल गो ऑल आउट फॉर मिगेल ऑस्कार एंड रोबिन्यो, वो नहीं आएंगे भाई. रोबिन्यो इज ऑन नेचुरलाइजेशन प्रोसेस. 2-3 साल में बांग्लादेश के लिए खेलता हुआ दिख जाएगा आपको. तो एंड दोस आर दी प्लेयर भाई, प्रॉपर स्काउटिंग. ये दिस इज द पॉइंट कि हम इन प्लेयर को खरीद लेंगे भाई. दे आर डूइंग राइट थिंग्स. वसुंधरा किंग्स ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ पैसे है तो उड़ाने ही कि कोई भी प्लेयर को. आपके मोस्ट ऑफ द आईएसएल क्लब क्या करते हैं फॉरेन साइनिंग में? 2-3 एजेंट को फोन करते हैं, कोचिस के ऊपर रिलाई करते हैं कि भाई तुम्हारी कोई जान पहचान हो, तुम्हारे अंडर कोई खेला हो, ऐसे फॉरेनर्स को लाते हैं. दे डोंट गो विद द प्रॉपर स्काउटिंग. और उनके पास कोई प्रॉपर स्काउटिंग टीम है ना, तो डोमेस्टिक लेवल के लिए है ना, तो कोई फॉरेन साइनिंग के लिए है. दिस इज द आई थिंक पॉइंट वी आर ट्राई टू मेक कि भाई आपके जो क्लब्स है वो पैसे जरूर यहाँ पे खर्चा कर रहे हैं, या फिर आपका नेशनल टीम के लिए भी, लेकिन प्रॉपर तरीके से जो आपको फुटबॉलिंग में जो बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर चाहिए उस सेंस में वो नहीं कर रहे हैं. एंड दैट्स व्हाई वसुंधरा किंग्स, माजिया और एनी अदर क्लब्स फ्रॉम द साफ रीजन वो आपको कपल ऑफ ईयर्स में आपसे आगे भी जा सकते हैं. तो और ऐसा भी तो नहीं है कि इंडिया ही एक सिर्फ फुटबॉल में आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश कर रहा है. एवरी कंट्री इज ट्राइंग टू देयर बेस्ट वे कि भाई किस तरह से वो फुटबॉल में आगे बढ़े. एंड इट्स अबाउट द पेस ऑफ द डेवलपमेंट. जो भी रैपिड पेस पे क्या बोलते हैं कि डेवलपमेंट करेगा वो आगे निकल जाएगा. इसमें ऐसा नहीं है कि अभी इंडिया आगे है तो बांग्लादेश आगे नहीं निकल सकता है, श्रीलंका नहीं निकल सकता, पाकिस्तान नहीं निकल सकता, या फिर मालदीव नहीं निकल सकता. अगर हमने इसी तरह से किया देन डेफिनेटली वसुंधरा किंग्स इज आई थिंक साफ रीजन से बेस्ट क्लब बनेगा मेरे हिसाब से. जिस तरह से उन्होंने प्रॉपर, आप देखिए प्रॉपर उनका स्टेडियम है, एटमोस्फियर आप देख लीजिए आज का. दिस इज व्हाट यू नीड इन दी एफसी कप मैचेस. आपने देखा मोहन बगान के होम पेज पे ऐसा एफसी कप का एटमोस्फियर देखा आपने ओडिशा एफसी के साथ? नहीं देखा. तो दिस इज द आपके क्लबों को सीखने की जरूरत है कि किस तरह से आपको क्लब ऑपरेट करना है.
आई मीन
मगर मगर राहुल, मैं एक चीज ऐड करूंगा. आई थिंक यहाँ पर विक्की लाल मंडल बोल रहे हैं, आई थिंक ये बात भी सही है. ठीक है, ही इज करेक्ट इन सम वर्ड. ही सेज Bangladesh league is not that competitive. I think Vasundhara has been doing so great, but if you see the other clubs in Bangladesh, I think they don't have that in them. If you see, I've seen Avoni also when they come to Kolkata for the practice games against Mohun Bagan, they played against Mohun Bagan. वो एक टीम अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है. आई थिंक दैट ग्रुप हैज टू डू अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. मतलब वो बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है. बट बांग्लादेश का जो अलग अलग जो क्या बोलते हैं और क्लब्स है, आई थिंक दे आर नॉट ऑन पार विद वसुंधरा. वसुंधरा हैज बीन द चैंपियन फॉर लॉन्ग टाइम नाउ. तो वो कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस नहीं है इस लीग में. बट वसुंधरा ऑफ लेट हैज बीन डूइंग, उनका जो है, उनका जो ग्रुप है, इसलिए वसुंधरा ग्रुप हैज डूइंग phenomenal job. उनका तो there was a time when East Bengal was also in talk with them to get this done. But I think Vasundhara has played very well. I think with all due credit, I think ये बात हिरेन ने सही बताया, and that all the other countries are also planning in that way. So it's a good thing. एक अपना स्टेडियम बनाना, वो एटमोस्फेयर क्रिएट करना, and that is something which we can learn. सीखने में तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, right? और ये I think he is also correct in that way. The 6 foreigner rules has also made this team more competitive. If you see last year they struggled because Topu Bormon and other players were not there this time. Topu Bormon जो डिफेंस में, आई थिंक डिफेंस में अभी उनको एक सॉलिडारिटी मिल जा रहा है. ये उनको एडवांटेज, बिकॉज क्या होता है ना, जब हेड टू हेड उनके साथ हम लोग का प्लेयर का होगा इंडियन और बांग्लादेश में, आई थिंक वहां पर हम लोग कैन डू बेटर. बट फॉरेनर्स जब 6 हो जा रहे हैं ना, इट्स बिकमिंग बिट डाइसी. जैसे आज जेडीडी ने हैज उल्सन भुंडाई को हरा दिया. आई थिंक दैट इज आल्सो समथिंग व्हिच इज हैपनिंग. इससे क्या होता है, फॉरेन अगर आप अच्छा ला दो, there many things can happen. So but all due credit, I think they have planned it well. I think they have planned it well. बहुत साल.
But then, Sayan, I'll ask you this question. Then shouldn't the Indian clubs have better foreigners than a club in Bangladesh or in the Maldives?
Exactly. Yes. My point is that
ideally होना चाहिए.
See, we're seeing in the Champions League again, as you said, JDT won today. You've had a Tajik club winning today. Yes. Saudi clubs losing. That's the Champions League. But we saw in the Champions League and the AFC Cup, that's why I come back to that point of where we stand. I am happy that Mumbai City only lost 2-0 yesterday. But did we really have a chance as Mumbai City to beat Al Hilal? Odisha has to do everything possible to win a comeback game. And Mohun Bagan loses at Vasundhara. That's the reality. That is the reality of Indian football today on this 7th of November.
one thing is that see, if you're spending money, जो हम लोग पहले भी बोले हैं that हमारे लीग में पैसा जैसे they are spending money, but the money should be used ना effectively. जो effective utilization नहीं हो रहा.
एग्जैक्टली. हाँ,
वो एक
आपको भी
बहुत
सेन पे
बड़ा
नहीं सेन पे आपको भी पता है कि प्लेयर कैसे क्लबों में सिलेक्ट होते हैं. एक दो क्लब छोड़ के आपको पता है किस तरह से स्काउटिंग होती है, क्या सारी चीजें होती है. तो
हाँ, तो ठीक है, वो तो होता है.
That is that's a different question, but the point here is, at the end of the day, that be it Indian or be it foreign player, the salary that we are offering to these players are higher than if they would play anywhere else in the world. Cummings has come to Mohun Bagan because of the salary which was offered to him, which no club in Southeast Asia or East Asia was willing. Even in Australia, we pay more today in the ISL than in the Australian A-League. That's the reality. But that is not, is it going to take us somewhere? It's not at the moment. So the question is, are you willing to pay for quality? Or are you willing to pay for the name? And that is something of an Indian psyche problem, that we like to have big names. If they're going to perform for us, not, that's the question. And you will have injuries. We discussed it yesterday. That is another problem. Even Mumbai City, Nasser Al-Khayyati is one of the best players to have ever graced Indian shores. But how many matches has Nasser Al-Khayyati played last season for Chennai and this season for Mumbai City?
एक चीज सर मैं ऐड करना चाहूंगा उसमें. आपने जैसे बोला कि वसुंधरा ने, जो उनका कोच है अभी, उसको टाइम दिया एंड ही इज बिल्डिंग टीम फ्रॉम लॉन्ग टाइम. आपके कौन से ऐसे क्लब ने इतना टाइम दिया कोच को? एक सीजन परफॉर्मेंस नहीं आई, आप यू आर आउट. सो दिस आर द थिंग्स जो आपको पता है कि कोई भी सक्सेसफुल टीम या फिर क्लब को बिल्ड करने के लिए लगती है, चाहे वो टॉप लेवल का क्लब हो वर्ल्ड का या फिर लोअर लेवल का हो. दिस इज द बेसिक थिंग जो आपको करनी पड़ेगी, कि एक प्रोसेस के थ्रू जाना पड़ेगा. देयर इज नो शॉर्टकट कि आप अच्छे प्लेयर लेके आओ, अच्छा कोच लेके आओ एंड आप उस सीजन टाइटल निकाल लोगे. उसको भी टाइम लगेगा, उसको भी अपनी जो वो करने के लिए टाइम लगेगा. उनको भी एक ही सीजन में सारे प्लेयर नहीं मिल जाते, हमको भी पता है. लेकिन आपके यहाँ पे क्लब ओनर या फिर जो भी बोले, जिस तरह से क्लब रन होते हैं, दिस आर दी, ये ऐसी चीजें है कि जो यहाँ पे आपके वहाँ पे ठीक नहीं हो रही है, जो बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर की हम बात करते हैं. एंड दैट्स व्हाई आप कितना भी पैसा उड़ा दो, आपको रिजल्ट नहीं मिलेगा.
जुआन को तो अच्छा ही टाइम मिला है भाई. इन कोलकाता स्टैंडर्ड में जुआन
नहीं एक मैं सिर्फ जुआन इन ए सेंस में नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, मैं ओवरऑल बोल रहा हूँ कि अगर आप देखेंगे ओवरऑल जनरल, तो आप देखेंगे कि अब जुआन भी देखो ना. वैसे अगर आप देखेंगे तो दुरान कप के बाद वो पहला मैच हारा है. अगर आप देखेंगे तो उतना ज्यादा वो होना नहीं चाहिए. लेकिन आप कल क्या देखेंगे? शेख जुआन फर्नांडो, फैंस से तो रिएक्शन आएगा. लेकिन आपने जैसे बोला कि ऑफिशियल्स भी अब वो हो गए, तो दिस इज द मेन इशू है.
ऑफिशियल से मेरा बात हुआ, टॉप माउंट बगन ऑफिशियल से मेरा अभी बात हुआ, एंड he is disgusted with this performance. They expected Mohun Bagan to at least South Asia से, in Bengali said with it, if we can't do from this zone, then why we are spending so much money? ना ये बात भी तो है. उन्होंने टाइम पैसा स्पेंड किया.
मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ कि आप जितना पैसा खर्च कर रहे हो सही तरीके से कर रहे हो या फिर खर्च करने के लिए कर रहे हो. दैट इज द पॉइंट ना.
अभी क्या बोल, that's a different discussion. मैं बाद में can discuss.
No, but again, you guys are raising a very, very important point. Is that who is coming how? And you say, listen, because we have got XYZ player who's a big name, that's why we will target this competition or that competition. It doesn't happen like that. Because if you look at Mohun Bagan, they've not had a proper preseason. They came in and directly had to play Duran Cup. Half of the team from the juniors were playing Calcutta Football League. Then you have suddenly AFC Cup starting. Then you have ISL starting. Where has the coach had the time to really settle down? Right? But the point is also, is this really the coach and the players? Are these all Juan Ferrando wanted players? again, will we ever find out? Most probably not. And that's the point, is how are you building your squads? How are you trying to build? Again, sometimes even with scouting, let's be honest, scouting is not your best solution and it will sort out. Even at the biggest clubs, you have players coming in and they don't work. If you look at, for example, I don't know, Man United, spending loads of money. Where has Man United been over the last 10 years? Right? Arsenal have needed a long time after Mr. Wenger left to rebuild and be a contender. Basundhara has done the basics. In my opinion, Basundhara has done the basics right. They have invested in infrastructure in regard to training facilities, have built a stadium, trusted Oscar Bruzon and his people to build something over a 4-5 year period. Some teams in the ISL have only short-term aims. And that will not work. You have to build. East Bengal is a good example. Sayan and I have had a lot of discussions in Bengali on his shows where I said before the start, I don't see East Bengal being a top 6 side as much as I would like them to be, but I don't see East Bengal being a top 6 side.
Yes.
And looking at how the league is panned out, they might be looking at finishing bottom again. Which, again, East Bengal fans will hate me for that, but I'm at least honest. When, yesterday people told me that. I said, guys, you want me to make a prediction? I'll make an honest prediction. And I will, again, none of us are in a way, have that mighty power that we will predict results properly. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it will not. And that's it's a lot of work needs to be put in Indian football. Our foundations are not right. Our biggest problems, our foundations are not right at the moment. Where are the youth leagues? Where is my grassroots football? We spoke yesterday about the women's game. Same problem. So our thing is, it needs to be implemented from the AIFF. The clubs, all stakeholders need to understand only together Indian football can grow. Right? And Lord Baker, you say we don't have funds. India spends more. The funds need to be spent wisely.
But we need to move on to that topic now, I think.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that takes us on nicely as well. Hiren, AFF, no funds. What do you make of that statement?
I think वो क्या बोलते हैं, आबेल मेरे को मार, वो वाली सिचुएशन उन्होंने कल की सामने से. आई थिंक गुजराती में एक कहावत है, ना बोलने में नो गुण, तो चुप रहने में ही भलाई है. अनफॉर्चुनेटली सच बात निकल गई उनसे. एंड ना फंड होने का मतलब 130 आपका सबसे बड़ा बजट है इस साल का, 134 करोड़ का. आपने उसका ढिंढोरा पीटा था कि वी हैव द बिगेस्ट बजट लास्ट ईयर से, इतना पैसा है, आप यूथ लीग नहीं करा रहे हो, आईएसएल का ब्रॉडकास्टिंग ठीक से नहीं हो रहा है, तो पैसा जा कहाँ रहा है? दैट इज द बिगेस्ट क्वेश्चन. इफ यू डोंट हैव अ फंड्स, देन पैसा जा कहाँ रहा है वो बताना चाहिए ना. पैसा गया कहाँ? 134 करोड़ कहाँ पे आपने स्पेंड किया, वो दिखा दो आप कि भाई हमने इतनी जगह पे स्पेंड किया है. और आप देखिए जो भूटान का एग्जांपल आ रहा है, दे हैव नॉट अ प्रॉपर वीआर. और आप देखिए, आप मैंने एक दो लोगों से बात की जो इंडियन फुटबॉल में इन्वॉल्व थे और अभी कुछ कैपेसिटी में है, तो उन्होंने बताया कि देयर आर, मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि वीआर आपको जो फॉरेन में लीग में देखने को मिलता है, प्रॉपर तरीके से आपको उसी लेवल का वीआर लाना है. आप इंडियन लोग जुगाड़ू लोग है, आपके पास यहाँ पे क्या बोलते हैं कि टेक सपोर्ट इतना है, सारी चीजें करके आप बेसिक लेवल का भी ला सकते हैं. जो भूटान वाला है उन्होंने 40 लाख में कैसे किया है कि वो बेसिक यहाँ पे रिप्ले दिखाते हैं कि ताकि जो रेड कार्ड या फिर पेनल्टी वाला कॉल है वो सही तरीके से आप ले पाओ. तो ऐसी आप बेसिक चीजें, हम ये नहीं बोल रहे कि आप एक मैच का जो 10-15 लाख का जो कॉस्ट आता है ऐसा वीआर लाओ. और आपने ऑलरेडी आपने बेल्जियम का विजिट किया था कि भाई बेल्जियम ने वीआर लाइट एंड कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव तरीके से यूज किया है. तो आपने 4-5 महीने पहले जब वहां पे ट्रिप की तो आपने ये सारी चीजें बोली थी कि भाई हम इंडिया में भी ऐसा कुछ सोल्यूशन ला रहे हैं. आपके प्रेसिडेंट मार्च में बोल रहे हैं कि हम नेक्स्ट सीजन से वीआर ला रहे हैं. तो आपने सारी चीजें, मेरे को जो ओवरऑल देखा है सारा वीआर का मसला, आई थिंक मेरे को ये दिखा कि आपको पब्लिक के आई में अच्छा बनना है. आपके पास कुछ बैकअप प्लान नहीं है, आप किस तरह से उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करोगे. आपके पास, आपको ये भी पता नहीं कि उसका पैसा है कि नहीं है. आपने पहले बोल दिया कि हम वीआर लाइट करेंगे, फिर आपको पता चला कि हमारे पास तो फंड नहीं है, हमारे पास तो ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है. तो आई थिंक ये लोगों को ज्यादा, मतलब क्या बोलने की, एक गाली नहीं बोलूंगा लेकिन दू बनाने की बात है, सिंपल सी लैंग्वेज में बोलूं तो. सो वो हुआ है यहाँ पे. एंड आई थिंक अगर मेरे हिसाब से आई थिंक जितना बजट है एफएफ का उसमें भी वीआर आ सकता है। आप चाहे प्रॉपर वीआर नहीं आएगा, लेकिन आपको जिस तरह की आपको मतलब जो जिस तरह के डिसीजन आप चाहते हो कि यहाँ पे आप अच्छे तरीके से रेफरी ले पाए, आई थिंक उसका सॉल्यूशन तो हो सकता है मेरे हिसाब से।
Shan,
Correct.
your thoughts on this? Potential for
I say I think I said it before also that देखिए फिनेंस तो हमारे पास है नहीं, मतलब फैक्ट बात है। वो जो बोले हैं आई थिंक ये बात एटलीस्ट उन्होंने अभी मान लिया, बट वो पहले क्यों बोले थे वो मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया था। वी डिस्कस्ड इट आल्सो दैट पहले क्यों बोला गया था वो लाएंगे, वी आर लाइट लाएंगे, एंड currently said by Hiren, I think Kullan Chaubey said it in live in a press conference that we are light, we are introducing from next season। उसके बाद एक डिस्कशन भी नहीं हुआ, और आपने बेल्जियम का ट्रिप भी किया है, फिर किसके लिए आप, मतलब आई थिंक उसका कोई क्लैरिटी हमारे पास अभी तक अभी आया ही नहीं कुछ। उसके बाद देयर वाज नो डिस्कशन, कल अचानक से गाय क्वेश्चन एंड ही सेड दैट वी डोंट हैव फंड्स। तो ये आप पहले ही क्लियर कर सकते, फालतू में आप व्हाई यू से, आई थिंक यू डोंट से थिंग्स व्हिच यू कांट डू। यू हैव फाइनेंशियल प्रॉब्लम। तो एक साल पहले तो आपको पता था ना ये नहीं आपके पास है, नहीं तो आप नहीं कर पाओगे तो कैसे आप फिर क्या हो रहा है। उससे ज्यादा मैं कुछ नहीं बोल पाऊंगा, बट एक चीज है दैट I think AIFF should have been. I think the president को थोड़ा, when you say something in public, I think he should take responsibility when he say something in public, because I think people also expected this. I think many people asked me, अब VAR light कब होगा, कैसे हो सकता है, how this could impact. In fact, एक petition भी दाखिल हुआ था, VAR use करना चाहिए Indian football में for the refereeing decision and all. So we don't have funds. Basically, it's correct. बट क्यों फंड्स नहीं है, आई थिंक दैट्स अ डिफरेंट डिस्कशन। उसके लिए हम एक अलग एपिसोड कर सकते हैं।
सैंदा वी हैव अ फंड्स, बट कहां पे उसको यूज करना है, क्या आपकी प्रायोरिटी है, किस तरह से मैनेज करना है, वो आपकी इनकम्पिटेंसी है, वो आपकी इनकम्पिटेंसी है कि यू डोंट नो हाउ टू क्या बोलते हैं मैनेज ऑल दिस थिंग्स। दैट्स योर जॉब, दैट्स व्हाई यू आर टेकिंग अ 12 लाख पर मंथ सैलरी। दैट्स योर जॉब, बट यू आर नॉट डूइंग इट। सो आप बोल रहे हो कि वी हैव नॉट फंड्स।
ठीक है, नहीं वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ, वही बोल रहा हूँ। एंड उनका आई डोंट नो वो क्या, उनका सैलरी के बारे में आई डोंट नो, बट ये बात है मैं सुना हूँ उनका सैलरी ऐसा है, बट वो अलग डिस्कशन है। बट
अरे वो खुद ने बताया कि 12 लाख है, तो उसमें अब हमें क्या वो बोलने की बात।
नहीं ठीक है, बट सी व्हाट आई वुड से दैट हिरेन एंड अरुणोदा एंड राहुल इज आल्सो हियर। आई वुड से दैट देखिए he is at least the secretary has accepted that fact that उनके पास है नहीं पैसा। आई थिंक उन्होंने बहुत सारे गलतियां किया है। यूथ लीग का अभी तक कुछ पता नहीं है। जैसे हम लोग ने होस्टिंग भी AFC एशियन कप का छोड़ दिया 2027 का। आई थिंक ये सब चीज ना मेरे को लग रहा है इन दिस 1 ईयर ना वी हैव डन मेनी मिस्टेक्स। आई थिंक जो हम लोग को आगे ले जा सकता था, वहां से आई थिंक वी हैव गॉट 1 स्टेप बैकवर्ड्स। मेरे को लग रहा है, आई थिंक पीपल मे डिसएग्री विथ मी, दे हैव फुल राइट टू डू सो, बट एज एन फॉलोअर फॉर इंडियन फुटबॉल फॉर सो लॉन्ग नो, मेरे को ये लगा है बिकॉज आई थिंक वी एक्सपेक्टेड अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स फ्रॉम दिस पीपल हु केम टू ओवर फ्रॉम द AIFF, बट सैडली आई हैव नॉट सीन मच ऑफ इट।
सैन भाई इसमें दिक्कत क्या है पता है? आप एक आपने जो कल बोला ना कि वी हैव नॉट फंड, इट्स सेंड द रॉन्ग मैसेज टू द पीपल आल्सो, फैंस आल्सो, एंड जो भी कोई इन्वेस्टर या फिर वो है उनके लिए भी कि भाई इस स्पोर्ट में यहाँ पे इनके पास पैसा ही नहीं है तो कोई क्यों डालेगा। अभी कोई पूछ रहा था कि ISL का स्पॉन्सर है, तो कोई क्यों डालेगा ISL स्पॉन्सर, कोई क्यों करेगा जब आपके फेडरेशन के पास ही पैसा नहीं है। तो कोई कंपनी थोड़ी पागल है कि उनको ही पता, उनको सीधा इंडिकेशन, उनको कोई चेक करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है कि भाई इंडिया में फुटबॉल का क्या क्रेज है। उनको पता आपके सबसे बड़े फेडरेशन के पास पैसा नहीं है, तो वहीं से उनको पता चल जाएगा कि यहाँ पे लोगों को इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, इसमें पैसे डालने की जरूरत नहीं है। दैट्स द पॉइंट ना भाई, कि आपको आपके प्रेसिडेंट ने एक चीज बोल रखी है और आपने बिल्कुल सही बोला कि आपकी एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनती है कि जब आपने एक स्टेटमेंट दिया है तो आपकी वो मतलब जैसे आज फिर से प्रेसिडेंट ने ओलिवर कान से मिलते ही स्टेटमेंट दे दिया गोलकीपिंग एकेडमी। अब आपने उसका कैलकुलेशन किया है, आपके पास इतने पैसे है क्या गोलकीपिंग को, आपने बोल दिया कि हम वी आर इनफॉर्मल चीज, तो आपने लोगों के लिए जो ये सारे पॉलिटिशियन वाले स्टेटमेंट है, टू बी ऑनेस्ट दिस इज नॉट एनी स्पोर्ट फेडरेशन प्रेसिडेंट और सेक्रेटरी आर सेइंग, ये लोगों की नजर में अच्छे बनने वाले स्टेटमेंट है। अब क्या उसको ग्राउंड में रियलिटी में क्या बोलते इंप्लीमेंट कर सकते हो, ये तो आपको एज ए रिस्पॉन्सिबल पर्सन बोल देना चाहिए ना। एज अ फैन हम कुछ बोल सकते हैं कि इंडिया को ये करना चाहिए, आप एक पोजीशन होल्ड करके बैठे हो, यू आर एएफए प्रेसिडेंट, यू आर एएफए जनरल सेक्रेटरी, उसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होती है कि आप कोई भी चीज बोलोगे तो लोग उसको किस तरह से लेते हैं, दैट इज द पॉइंट। आपने बोल दिया कि वी आर लाइट ला रहे नेक्स्ट सीजन, तो क्योंकि तब उस टाइम पे वो वॉकआउट वाला इंसिडेंट हुआ था, लोग काफी ज्यादा फ्यूरियस थे आपसे एंड बोल रहे थे कि भाई इंडियन लीग्स का क्या बोलती है वो सारी चीजें है, इसलिए आपने लोगों को अच्छा दिखाने के लिए बोला कि हम नेक्स्ट सीजन वी आर ला रहे हैं, जबकि आपको भी पता था कि आपके पास पैसे नहीं है, आपके पास वो नहीं है सारी चीजें कि आप वो वी आर लाइट इंप्लीमेंट कर सकते हो। अब आपके जो सेक्रेटरी ने बोल दिया कि वी डोंट हैव फंड्स, उन्होंने भी सेम चीज वहां पे रिपीट गलती कर दी। तो मेरा पॉइंट वो है कि आपने इंडियन फुटबॉल को बेड लाइट में यहाँ पे डाला है विद दिस ऑल ऑफ दिस थिंग्स, जिस तरह से हैंडल हो रही है।
Fair enough, fair enough. Vilas sir, after just to reply to you, we are reading every single comment. Don't worry about that. Arnava, disappointed by this situation. Again, a lot of people in the chat mentioning that the fact that VR Lite was promised. Of course, that didn't happen, and suddenly there are no funds.
2 points. One point is, and Sayan will remember, we were speaking about it and it said at the time, I don't see VAR being implemented in football in 23-24. I don't want to sound like I know it better, but sadly I have to say this. And secondly, if you thought these guys will run it better than the old AIFF, that's your end product of how well or how bad they run it before. I think that answers you. If I like it or not, they at least kept the system running, overall system running, not just ensuring that sort of ISL, I-League, IWL and the national teams run. The overall system was running. That another mistake is to compare us to Bhutan, because if Bhutan implements VAR Lite, it is implemented in Thimphu in one place. It's literally a van which has been sponsored by FIFA. Done. We have 11 venues in the ISL. If we're adding IWL to it, a lot of them are playing in the same venues. But again, I-League and all that stuff, it is not so easy to implement in India. And there's a cost which the AFF would have to bear and another cost that the clubs have to bear. And as far as I know, whatever the coaches are saying, but the club managements and the owners have all said, we don't want VAR at the moment. We can't pay for it.
बट सर पॉइंट इज कि आप जो मतलब भूटान ने भी लगाया है वो आप उसके कंपैरेटिव में नो डाउट इंडिया के पास 11 वेन्यूज है, लेकिन आपका बजट भी तो उतना ही बड़ा है। और आप देखिए कि हम ये नहीं बोले कि वीआर लाइट आप प्रॉपर तरीके से लाओ, आप जुगाड़ू तरीके से आप रेफरी को या
नहीं होगा। it has to be FIFA approved. If you're implementing VR, you cannot do Indian jugaad. It has to be approved by the Swiss in Switzerland, in Zurich. ऐसे जुगाड़ नहीं होता है। Indian football is in the state it isn't because we do jugaad. Do it properly.
Yeah.
India is such because आप जुगाड़ करते, we have the talent in every field, but we do jugaad day in day out, and that's why India is screwed up in all fields. Let's talk facts. How can a Vietnam in 10 years sort itself out? Because they did the right things. Whoever runs the AFF, I don't need to get brownie points from fans. Be the most hated man in the position as general secretary and president. But if you get the work done, once you leave your job, you know what you've delivered. Sorry to say this, but I cannot jump to the left when the fans said jump to the left and then jump to the right when the fans said jump to the right. I have to do what is good and right for Indian football, what I think is right and good for Indian football. And they're not doing it. You're trying to score brownie points, and that scoring the brownie points at the end of the day, it's hitting you afterwards because you made commitments which you knew yourself at the time you cannot keep.
I one question to you. Do you think people running right now the AIFF setup, from everybody, from top to bottom, you think they somehow lack that experience of running a professional management system? I think that is missing in them. I think they were more of time of rebel who came into power, but who don't have any plan to how to run a government.
See, if I would be honest, I think nobody in Indian football will speak to me because I'll say 99.99% of people need to be thrown out. If you want your Indian football to be successful, you need to bring in the right people. Not going to happen, right? But if the right people in the right positions don't run your football, this is your end product. I would remember in 2013, 2012, 2013, 2014, when the ISL was being conceptualized, when Mrs. Ambani said certain things. The problem is that the roadmap that was presented was the right one. But for the roadmap to work, the stakeholders have to work together. In Indian football, the stakeholders are doing their own thing. The AFF is doing its thing. The state associations are doing their thing. The ISL clubs are doing their thing. The ISL is doing their things. I-League is doing its things. IWL. You can go on. So the point here is, and to say we don't have money is wrong. La Liga players from La Liga are leaving Spain. The Spaniards who come to India, some of them have come to India, are getting more money in India than they would get in Spain. So Indian football, for the standard, again, if we would say the most overpaid market in the world is Saudi Arabia. But for our standard of football, we are also a very overpaid market. I am very, very happy for the players. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for whatever money the players are getting. But for the standard of football that we are dishing out, nobody deserves even close to what they're earning at the moment. Sorry to say that. That's a reality. But for the system to do what is needed, I don't need a yes man. I don't need a showman. I don't need someone who wants to be good on social media. I need someone who understands football. First of all, that's the problem. And secondly, someone who's going to implement the things. Whatever other people say, you can get good inputs. But whoever runs the AFF and wants to take Indian football forward will have to take tough and rough decisions, if you like it or not. Otherwise, keep this recording 7th of November 2023. Let's meet in 10 years and let's see where we stand. We'll be in the same exact position. The ISL looks to be nice. An Indian team has lost in the AFC Cup or whatever, AFC Champions League 2 or whatever it's going to be called in 10 years. We need to, if we don't wake up to realities and do the right things, this cycle will never end. That's my biggest concern, because I've been seeing this now for 25 years.
Yeah. I think, Anavaz, you've painted the picture there. Clearly, I think one thing that we've always, sort of done is provided exactly what you presented your perspective and you've told what we've needed. And we're hoping that things change, and of course for the better. Just away from this, guys, there was one more game that we were talking about in the middle, the ISL game between Punjab and Hyderabad, 1-1 draw. It was exciting in its own way, a couple of late goals. Just wanted to quickly touch upon that before we wrap up. Sayan, both these clubs sort of have blown hot and cold. They've taken a point each. Does it help either of them? Because I think a win would have done, whichever team won would have done them, of course, a lot more favors than a draw itself. But who is more happy with a draw here between these two clubs?
I think if you ask me, I think Hyderabad would be very happy. I think they got their last minute goal. I think they should be happy with they got a point out of this game. And I think what we have discussed, I think 3-4 months back, I think in this platform is that this year's league will be one of the most competitive league. And I think every game is giving us some or the new things to get new things in for Indian football. Because if you see Punjab also, if you see Punjab's games very thoroughly, Punjab lost to Mumbai City FC. I think they played a very decent game that day. They lost to Goa FC Goa, again a very strong team. I think the top they have played against more or less all teams of the top 1, 2, 3, and I think I think somehow I feel Punjab FC and Hyderabad also has a very good chance of going up the table. I think many clubs in the middle of the who are right now 8th, 9th can come down. Don't get me wrong. There are many clubs who can go down because if you see the games thoroughly, because if you see Hyderabad last game they have drew against when they drew against Bengaluru FC. They against today got a point against uh, Punjab. I think next 4 5 games now will give you a clear idea, Rahul, where this league is going basically. And what we have said before also, and I stick to what I say. First three clubs are more or less. More or less we can say that this would be the first 3 or 4 clubs: Kerala Blasters, Odisha. Then we have got the sixth club from the position number 6 till the position till 12th position. We never know who can come to which position. Very difficult. Very difficult. I'll not write off Mumbai, Hyderabad. I'll not write off Punjab FC because they have very good. They have good chances putting up upset against good teams. Punjab were unlucky, I would say. Punjab should have been in a better place what they are right now. So I think this league is very competitive, and I think Rahul, just give us after the break is over from 25th. I think Israel is playing a game against Chennai on 25th, and after that also we have some games lined up. So next 4 5 games will decide the fate of the league where we thought and where actually league has shaped up to be because
No,
it's
yeah.
very difficult. भाई. I think
Shayan,
बहुत tough है भाई. कुछ भी predict करना कोई अपने on their day anybody can beat any team. I mean that's the best part of this ISL. The best part of this ISL. Nobody is means हो सकता है will come and will get 3 points from that team. There is no team from in this league, and that is the best part of this ISL.
True. I think that is fairly true because I don't think we've still been able to predict a winner or the top 6 or who's going to finish bottom. Ashan is right in saying that it is competitive. We can't really predict too much in this league. But Hiren, before we leave, this was the last ISL match before the international break, and of course, a very important international period for India. Are you looking forward to it? Excited? Your expectations from the Indian side?
Definitely super excited. World Cup qualifiers, dream of world qualify into the FIFA World Cup 2026 is on. Our captains yesterday said, and every Indian football fans is expecting a big game against Kuwait on 16th, and next against Qatar at the home. 2 games will decide India's future in the World Cup. Okay, where we are going to go in round 3 or out from the round 2. So big. You can say कि next couple of weeks are coming for the Indian football. And leagues भी अच्छी चल रही है. ISL I think exciting matches, and आज last match day था. So overall I think really exciting time to be honest as an Indian football fans in coming weeks, and definitely there will be some joyous moment, there will be some sad moment if India lose, but let hopes for the best, and let hope India deliver on the game against Kuwait and Qatar.
Yep, that is the expectation, guys. The first game, of course, against Kuwait away from home, 16th of November. We're going to be talking. I mean, it's going to be a lot of international football from tomorrow onwards for us. I know, again, your thoughts quickly on the international games before we wrap up. And I think Velociraptor's also kind of provide his opinion on what he thinks about the situation. He thinks that it is corrupted anyways, both system, and as such, it wouldn't matter if things change as well. But, yeah.
Again, that's an own discussion, and maybe we'll have it another day. I think that it doesn't make sense to now keep on talking about that. But
today's dose is enough.
And I think again he has a point, but again you can work around it as well. Internationals, Kuwait and Qatar, 2 tough games. Let's be honest. We're going to miss Anwar. We're going to miss Jackson. We're going to miss Ashik Kurunian. I hope nobody else has injured himself in the last 2-3 days. That's important. Certain players are in good form. Certain aren't. And it's now to Igor Stimac to pick the best starting 11 to play in Kuwait City on the 16th and somehow get us a result. I think that match is very, very crucial for these qualifiers because Kuwait will want to have a go at us after the SAF Cup final. And therefore, that's a crucial one. If we can get a result over there, a lot potentially is possible. Because I remember this whole thing about getting into pot 2 and all that stuff. Nice, but in the end we got Kuwait. So, Kuwait is a pot 2 team to me. And therefore we need to try and get a result because Afghanistan will also not be pushovers. So for us, if we want to keep that dream going, I hope that we get into that third round, and then of course anything potential is possible. But again, we've got a lot of problems, and I hope one thing, as Lord Beke says, we're going to miss Apuya. I hope that Apuya gets into the final 23, and I hope Igor jumps over his own shadow and plays him, because he showed yesterday again he's our best midfielder at the moment.
Absolutely.
If you don't say that he's our best midfielder, Igor, I think you're not the right man for the job. Sorry. That has to be clearly said, because he's by far our best player. He's shown it twice against Al Hilal, what this guy can play. And we need that kind of a character trying to keep our midfield together, because that's the most important position for us. Otherwise, we'll be exposed like against Malaysia, because our defense looks shaky to me at the moment. We will miss Anwar Ali dearly.
Yep. So it's all over to Mr. Igor Stimac and the Indian national team. We're looking ahead to the Indian World Cup qualifiers. World Cup qualifiers for India. We'll be covering that extensively, and we'll have a couple of chats before India play their first game against Kuwait, and we'll of course speak after India play Kuwait and after India play Qatar at home. Until then, guys, please do like, share, and subscribe to SportsKhabri, to Indian Food and Football, Curious Harry, Arun Foot, and we'll be back for more conversations like this. Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everyone.